I lost my car. I'm trying to get a car now, and I was going to the auction. A friend of mine sent me a list, and it was so many cars that were repoed during the pandemic, right? And I'm not going to buy a car because what I discovered was most of the cars that if I'd have bought a car, had a lien on it. So I still have to negotiate with the dealer, right? Or the company of the car. And I was like, there's so many people that was living beyond their means, right?
Right.
During the pandemic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people, were doing whatever they was doing, but they couldn't afford to maintain that lifestyle. Like, and it's going back to what you're saying, living beyond your means, basketball player living beyond their means. Like, it is a common occurrence in our community, though, right? So it's very important and essential that we start having more economic conversations early to help these young people, because if you don't know how to manage money, right?
Right.
And
guess what? Our parents ain't know.
Yeah.
Right? For the most part. Some people was different, but our parents couldn't even pass this knowledge down. You seen your parents working a job, you seen them working hard, they get retired or whatever.
Trying to survive.
And that's not teaching a specific lesson about financial freedom to your children. That's teaching you work hard and then this is what you get.
Get a job.
Right.
Right. But
Which is not 100% wrong with
There's not nothing wrong with that.
But
you also want to know about is being smart about money.
How does your money make
How,
money?
how do you make money without having to be a slave to a job or a corporation?
But I think, going back to what you said, I think the parents knew to a certain extent, right?
Right.
They
didn't tell us.
They didn't
verbalize it.
Well, they was going through their own trauma,
Right,
but
right.
they put things in place, right? Because a lot of parents that did transitions had life insurance. Like when my father passed away, he left me and my brother like over $100,000 in life insurance, right? There's some parents that when they transition, they leave you a house, right? So to the extent of how to build on what you got, that conversation didn't happen.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say? But I think it was some economic wealth.
He took measures
that
to
that
make
was
sure
left.
that upon his passing, you're not left with a bill. See,
Exactly.
My parents was the opposite.
Well, the sad part is, even when I got my portion of the money, within 5 years, I was broke again. Right? Because there was nobody to speak to me about how to invest this.
Right.
Like create a portfolio of investments. Like, and it, I had to grind it out. So just imagine of having, a substantial amount of money at a young age and not knowing what to do or what to invest in.
And you squander it.
And you squander it away.
That's the thing about it. It's not, like I said, it's not what you cop, it's what you keep. It's how you take your money and you allocate it that will last. You get what I'm saying? You don't want to just have $100,000 and spend $100,000. That's just like insanity, unless you're going to have another means to get that $100,000. So it's like, inflation, it rises. So that $100,000 that you got a couple of years ago is not going to be worth the same amount. Right. So I mean, it's how you invest and how you move.
But like
you
said,
with your money,
it's not what you cop, it's what you keep. So you getting $100,000. You cut your expenses with your outlay, with your expenditures. But then the money that you get, because I talked about this with my students, you're not going to just put it in a bank. That money got to make money for you. So you invest. You find ways to invest. There's tons of investments. There's gold. There's all these different things. There's stock market. There's index funds. There's all these things.
You want to get assets.
So you have to take that money that you're not spending and not just put it under the mattress per se.
Right.
But you got to have that money make money for you to a point where you don't have to go to punch a clock to make the money.
Right.
Your collective cumulative money has been building, and that's now making money. That is your income now. That's the challenge. So I'm going through that myself right now. That's what I'm actually working through.
Right.
And it's not easy. It's not 100% easy, especially when you're my age. You're starting late, right? You're starting late, but if you're 25, you'll be a millionaire by the time you get 60s, like early 60s.
It could be early.
Earlier than that.
If with the right investments,
right?
And the right understanding about finance,
right?
Financial literacy.
So I'm old school. I'm like, I gotta go work and bust my knuckles up to get this money, and I have to break out of that mind state of having to work and exchange more time for money. I'm breaking out of that mind state, but it's not easy because my whole life, this is how I've always operated. And like you were saying, like not just for the sports people, but you have this lifestyle. I went through that, not for sports. I went through it through being I had a civil service job, right? And I had a certain lifestyle and I was doing well at the job, and then I got hurt, and then that salary stopped. Like changed my whole world. You understand? Making a certain amount of money. I had a credit cards with $10,000 limits back 20 something years ago. And I'm like, yo, I'm doing good, boom, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then boom, I got hurt.
Yeah, what happens when that
Income tanked.
right? When that
Because workers' comp don't take care of you. Trust me on that. Income tanked. And then I'm like, yo, I'm taking money off my credit cards now. And then my bill get ridiculously huge. And then I had to dig myself out of that.
Because you still owing a balance. And that's
That's
what people
it.
don't understand about credit cards. Like
That's what
you
they
still
do.
owe penalties and interest is what you're paying.
When you max out your credit card, $10,000, and they see that you max out your card, they raise the interest rate and charge you late fees. By the time I paid that card off, I paid off 20 grand.
right.
Right? And then you see this now, like during the pandemic, credit card interest rates went up. They didn't reduce, they went up. So it's so funny how it's like an inverse relationship. Now that my cards is paid off, just about, they increased my credit limits.
Oh, yeah. We want you back.
They increased the credit limits.
Come on back.
But when my cards was maxed out, they raised the interest rates.
To keep you in debt.
So it's taking your money. It's like you said, it's not what you cop, it's what you keep. Think about it. You come home with $10,000 in 1 month, and you have all these bottom feeders that come out that want to siphon off that $10,000. So this is how I see finance now. There's this opposition to me holding on to my money. But they don't come as opposition, they come as products. And they come with a nice smile on their face. And they say, listen, you don't got to pay for this for 6 months.
Right.
Just get it now, and you don't got to pay for it. And they give you this deal that you can't refuse, even if you don't need the thing, right? And that's one of the things I see. So like, okay, I'm trying to hold on to the 10,000, but this is a nice thing I could get, and it's only $1,000.
$1,000.
You know what I'm saying?
But
now you got 9,000.
Yeah, they try to get you with instant gratification. But you have to have delayed gratification.
Yeah.
So when you talk about your finances.
So it's discipline. It's a level. You got to develop a discipline, financial discipline.
Right.
Get your financial judo on. Whatever financial,
you got to.
financial
You know,
arts.
You're going to have to, because you look at the student loans, right?
Right.
People paying back that 20, 30 years, still paying back that loan from school.
But the student loan thing, I think, is a problem with this country because you have other places that have free education and their society is much better.
Mm-hmm.
You have like if like Bernie, for instance, Bernie he had a plan. He had an economic plan, and so did Warren.
Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren. So I mean, we got to talk about economics, and especially like in our communities and also in the greater society, economics plays a lot of roles and issues, and a lot of problems could be solved with some economic issues or some economic solutions.
Right.
Because if you're scrambling, just to a lot of stuff could be, not say everything could be solved, but
Yeah.
some of these social issues happen because of lack of financial literacy and lack of finances, and lack of resources. So I mean, people come from a mindset of scarcity. So it's like, give me, grab, I gotta get, and when they get something, like, oh yo, I got it. But it's not maturity and a learned behavior of when you're dealing with money and finances.
It's also emotional, emotional spending.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Like
yeah,
that-
but
that's-
money, you have an emotional attachment, because if you ever day traded, or if you ever traded, and you're trading something, you understand that if you ever gambled, well, gambling is really bad, but if you ever gambled, it's an emotional high when you win money, or if you lose it, you're like, you have an emotional attachment with money.
But the come down got to be real when you see them bills every month. Like it's going back to the car situation, man. I spoke to a dealer. He said the average person in New York is spending over $1,100, like between a car note and insurance.
Oh wow.
Like because
But that's
the insurance rate in New York is crazy. So plus they got the death ring, but the car market now is 30% over the car value price. So you know, a $12,000 car might be 20,000. Like, and people are paying these car notes. Like, you know what I'm saying? 400, 500, and they're not even making this type of money to really sustain that, right?
Right.
And this is going back to what I'm saying about the repo, because after a couple of years of that, eventually you're just gonna say, yo, let's take it and we'll work out what we need to work out.
Yeah, but you got to think about the finances. Who's making money off of this stuff?
Well, they are, of
Repo
course.
people.
The repo people. I mean, but most of these car dealers, they usually, you know, they have their cars on consignment from the banks. So they write it. You know, they don't really own the car, so they have like a bank lender to get you the car. So I mean, the banks are behind a lot of stuff. So I mean, you got to talk about the finances and how things are run in this so-called capitalist society.